Howdy, embody. Afriel here. Today, I want to talk about how this is a PvP server. So, that phrase comes from a streamer who I follow pretty closely. He goes by Griswold Grimm, and I don't know if he has a proper name for it, but I'm going to call it the Godmask Quartet, which is 4 sayings as part of a fictional coming-of-age ceremony that he's written about. And those 4 sayings are, this is a PvP server, the beast takes what it wants and gets what it gets, man protects the sacred, and you're part of it now. And for the rest of this video, I'm going to be referencing pretty heavily from an article I wrote a few months ago. Link's going to be in the description if you want to see some links of... hang on. Can I... Got him. Cool. So if you want to see some of the sorts of things that I'm thinking of and referencing as I'm talking about this stuff, that's a good place to go. I hyperlinked a bunch of things in there that will help to give some context. And by the way, I was already thinking about doing this video. I kind of had the route idea where I'm gonna... So the plan is I'm going to get the Grass Crest Shield here in a second, because I missed that on the last one. And then once I get that, I'm going to go get the Wolf Ring, get the Stone Giant Armor, get the Hornet Ring, and then we're going to go kill Sif, which the Hornet Ring is in Sif's arena, so it's just... I'm going to grab that first. I don't think you can technically crit against Sif, but I figure I'll just go ahead and grab it first anyway. So I had all this planned, right? And part of that route is you go through what's called the Forest Hunter Covenant. Oh, and I can get the Crystal Lizard while I'm at it too. Hang on, let me just focus for a second, because I don't want to miss him. And I missed him. Okay, well. Need to be faster on the draw. So part of the route is going through the Forest Hunter Covenant, which is a PvP area. And this was something that I definitely wanted to talk about, and that just seemed like a really good in-game opportunity to talk about it in context. Especially since I'm recording this on a Friday night, so the likelihood of me getting invaded or being able to invade somebody is decently high. So that's going to be kind of the idea, is to get a PvP encounter while talking about PvP encounters. So, what does it mean for this to be a PvP server, is the first question. The way that my gamer brain thinks of it right off the bat is that PvP exists in contrast to PvE, which is kind of what this game is, right? I'm running around, I'm killing monsters that a developer put in here and designed. There's no players, right? There's no agentic person behind any of the things that I'm fighting right now. They're all robotic, mechanical. There doesn't have to be another person. I can play this by myself, right? Which is actually kind of an interesting thought, because technically that makes even this a PvP game in the current state, because I'm fighting against the developer, right? I'm fighting against the design that the developer put in front of me, and I didn't even think to put this on, and I probably could run back because there are no enemies here. Where is it? There we go. Can I still... Yeah, it's still not quite fat rolling. Okay. I don't want to take my eyes off the screen on this part, though. Falling off would be not fun. Okay. So within Dark Souls, there's different covenants. You have... What I'm about to go into is the Forest Hunter Covenant, and the idea with them is that they are defending the grave of Knight Artorias. And that was not smart. Okay. Gotcha. Cool. And let's see if I can actually execute the back hop slash... There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Okay. So we're going to go into the Forest Hunter Covenant here in a second. And they're not the only covenant that you can join in this. Right? You can play as the Dark Wraiths. You can play as the Dark Moon Blades. I can't remember that one off the top of my head. There's a couple of different ways that you can play PvP in Dark Souls, and each of them has its own rules and goals. And I think that actually, like, I'm not going to try and draw any direct correlations, but I think that actually works pretty well, like taking that and then thinking about real life within that kind of a context. That there's different groups of people with different goals in mind, different ways of trying to achieve things, and I'm going to focus up here because I can very easily die to just NPCs here, not to mention the possibility of getting invaded. And okay, let's not die. Oh gosh. That would be kind of disappointing. Can I... Oh my gosh. And I'm dead. Okay, well... For the sake of brevity, I may end up just running through this part, because I've definitely struggled, and the time that it would take for me to properly fight through these guys each time, especially if I keep dying, is not going to be fun to watch. So we might hold off on the PvP action. So we're just going to run through here, now that we're hollowed. And then as we run through, we're going to talk to Elvina.
Is it not so?
And that'll de-aggro everybody else back there. So we are seeking the grave of Artorias. We're just going to walk away. Okay. Man, trying to read my notes while walking is a challenge sometimes. So we're going to go and we're going to grab the Stone Giant armor because this has some really good poise, and so what I can do is I can just tank Sif's hits and just get damage off. But I won't put that on just yet because it makes you really heavy and really slow. So the consequence of something being a PvP server is that you inevitably create a beast. If you have some metric that can be gamed, then there's going to be somebody who wants to game it. There's going to be somebody who wants to optimize for a particular playstyle, and they're going to be able to crush any newbies that try and stand in their way. That's just kind of the nature of how something like this is, where you are able to acquire enormous amounts of power. I am going to try and get the Wolf Ring first before I go in there, because that'll help with poise as well. But if you are able to, so let's say, for example, I play this game for a bunch of hours, I get some really, really good gear. I think I can get this way, right? Maybe? Maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering. I'm probably misremembering. Well, we'll do it without the Wolf Ring. So I can be somebody who is soul level 120, which is a typical soul level to be for a lot of builds, because people like to try and create characters and then engage in PvP with other people with them. So that's a pretty common level to get to. And if you get to level 120 and you have really, really good gear, then what ends up happening is you're able to just pub stomp newbies, right? You can destroy people who don't have as many levels, as much gear. You're just going to completely overwhelm them. And that's just a reality of any system, any game where you're playing like that. So we're going to go in here, open this up with the Crest of Artorias, I think. Actually, I'm not sure. I think the crest is actually just for that gate, now that I think about it. Anyway, we're not going to trigger Sif yet, so if you walk right up, the giant gravestone in the middle there with swords around it is the grave of Knight Artorias, and it's being guarded by a giant dog, but the dog has not entered the arena yet. So what you can do is before he jumps in, you can walk around to the back, and there is a little white light there for an item. Because the idea is that he's guarding the grave, right? He's guarding the, what is it, the Covenant of St. Artorias, which is a ring that you need for later on in the game. But as long as you're not trying to take that, if you're just trying to come and pay your respects, then Sif won't attack you. But if you are trying to come and take it, well, then you're engaging in some meta PvP, shall we say. Do I have another ring? I'll put the horn ring on. I don't think it actually makes a difference, but we'll give it a try. So as you can see, I'm now super duper slow. And I may end up just taking too much damage. But we'll give it a try. Very scary doggo. And doggo knows how to use sword. Oh my. Okay. I was trying to get my shield up and that did not work at all. Okay, let's try not to die. Can I drink? Yes, I can drink. Cool. And that knocks you down regardless. Cool. That was not advised. Okay. Can I even get one hit off on him? God! Okay. Oh, come on! I can't move! Okay. Well, that's a hard pass on the stone giant armor. We'll, try and do it where I can actually move and roll to dodge rather than trying to just tank it. Okay, let's take that off and put my Pyromancer garb back on. Okay. So anyway, was talking about how... Okay, let me just get by these guys first. I really don't want to die. Not that I have a huge bloodstain to save, but at the same time it would be, I don't know, just embarrassing. And tap Talvina. Okay. So if you are somebody who is extremely powerful, you are a beast. You can take what you want, but you'll get what you get. And what that means is, yes, you can pub stomp and you can newbie stomp, but there's really only so much value in that. There's only so much reward in doing that kind of a thing. At the end of the day, what are you really gaining? Right? Or what do you have left if somehow another bigger beast comes and takes all of your points from you? I was shielding. That is ridiculous. Can I back up? Okay, let me just drink real quick and hopefully not die. Okay. Let me get away from the door and try and roll, and apparently that doesn't work. Can I hit you once? I can hit you once and then die. I don't remember him being this difficult. Well. What do I need to do differently? What am I doing right now that's not effective that I need to do differently? I honestly don't know. I'm not a strong enough beast. That's what the problem is. I just need more power. If I had more power, then I could protect myself, and I could beat Sif and continue on the path that I want to continue on. That's kind of the mentality, by the way, of someone who does follow that idea of the beast, is that they are always in pursuit, always craving for more, because they see that there are things and people that are more powerful than them, and that's the way that they think to resolve that. And there's some mechanics to try and keep that fair, right? There's level caps in Dark Souls, but you can still be a soul level 1 guy with a maxed out pyromancy glove. I'm just going to fight these guys. We'll call this PvP. Maybe I'll get a humanity from them, and then I can actually human up and then play against somebody. And let's see. Can I get him? There we go. Got him again. That's more like it. Cool. So the thing to keep in mind is that the things that are actually valuable, right? Because I can create a new character, and if I have the skill, I can quickly create another version of this, right? Like, I mean, I have to get lucky to have a Black Knight Greatsword this early in the game. Okay, that's... I should stop getting hit by those. And I died. I told you, I'm not that good at games generally, and especially not this one. But yeah, the things that are actually valuable, the things that really matter, they're not stored in the game. They're not stored on a server somewhere. They're the things that are indelibly marked upon your soul. They're the things that are marked in your relationships with other people. Right? The whole, and I know this is cringe, but I'm going to say it anyway. The best ship is friendship, right? And it's corny, but at the same time it's true. There we go. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go and walk back to the bonfire real quick, because I just want to read an excerpt from that last bit of that article that I mentioned earlier. Because, I don't know. When you reflect back on things that you write, sometimes you're like, hey, I actually wrote something pretty good there. So, now that you've heard all of this, you're a part of it now too. You've been read on, so to speak. So what will you choose to do with this information? Will you shut your eyes tight, pretend you didn't see anything, and try to continue living as though you're unaware of the reality in which you find yourself? Or will you embrace the PvP nature, laugh at the foolish beast, and swear to protect the sacred as best you can? I'm trying to do the latter, and I hope you do as well. And importantly, as demonstrated with my poor play tonight, it's important to learn how to play properly. Even if you're oriented towards good, right? Even if you're wanting to do something like I'm wanting to share my thoughts, and I'm wanting to play a game while sharing those thoughts, and partly to show competency, partly to give me material to talk about. And it kind of, to a degree, diminishes the point that I'm trying to make if I can't play well, right? If I am dying to Sif the first time without even doing damage, and then the second time I die after getting a single hit in, it doesn't lend the same weight to the words that I'm saying as if I were to actually be able to kill him on the first try. Because then I'm giving a demonstration that, and maybe my words aren't connecting to my actions directly like that, but at least there's a possibility of that. Whereas if I can't take the actions, right, if I can't make those positive steps towards the good, then how on earth do we have any real knowledge that the things that I'm saying are valid, are actually valuable, and like if somebody else took those ideas and went with them, that they would produce good results in their life too, when I can't even make them produce good results in my own. So it's important to learn how to play properly. Even if you're oriented towards the good, it doesn't mean much if you're useless. And that's not meant to be an attack, right? It's not meant to be, oh, shame on you, like, yeah, you're oriented towards the good, but is that really that good, right? If you're just useless, if you're just somebody who gets steamrolled by the first experienced player who comes along, like, what are you even doing, right? What are you even doing in this game? It's not meant to be an attack like that. It's meant to be an encouragement, because I want good to succeed in this world. But that means that it has to fight against evil with wisdom. It can't face roll. It can't attack and attack and attack again in the same way and expect a different result, right? Being oriented towards the good, it means something. It's a very, very important first step, to be sure. But it's often not enough. You have to learn how to play the game properly with the white pieces. And part of that is recognizing that the black pieces are going to do their utmost to try and bait you in to playing their game, right? To becoming a beast yourself. And you can't take that bait. You have to know the game that you're playing. You have to know that that game is different than the one that they're playing. And be okay with the fact that not everybody's going to get it, right? There's a lot of unpolarized people who haven't woken up to the reality of reality. And they're going to look at you and they're going to say, oh, you're getting steamrolled by this beast? Why don't you just sacrifice this, this, and this? Sacrifice your morals, sacrifice your ethics, be willing to lie, right? But what you have to understand is you're playing a different game. Even if nobody else recognizes it, even if nobody else appreciates it, you know the game you're playing. And it's important to have confidence in that. It's important to follow through on that. And I'm in large part saying that because I sometimes have a hard time believing that myself. So with that, goodbye then. Be safe, friends. Don't you dare go hollow.